Hi, today an update from my car. And in this video I'd like to talk to you about my life update 6.5 years after my awakening experience. An intense experience in which I realized that I wasn't this body-mind. It was in general an experience in which I realized I was something which I did not expect. That I was just consciousness, that I was just pure freedom, and that there was just no limits on what I was. But I actually have a very short memory of that which happened. After it happened, I think I only remember about 15 to 20 minutes after that. After that, I remember nothing. Just nothing at all. So that's quite strange, but also quite common, because if nothing happens, and that's the nothingness which you already are, then you also have no memory about that. And you hear that more often with people with an awakening experience, that they don't have any memories of that, because it's just pure nothingness, and you don't need to. There's just no need to remember in a way, which sounds very strange, but yeah. But I want to give an update about what happened afterwards. So, because not for everyone the experience of what happens afterwards is similar. It's not always the same, and also in my case it's not the same, because in my case I ended up first of all realizing that so many things that I thought were relevant for me were not. I felt so many limiting beliefs. I felt almost crippled by limiting beliefs, crippled by self-judgment, crippled by, I would say, micro traumas, or also the bigger traumas that happened to me, or the things that hurt me. I felt immense amount of pain, and I felt just depressed and in that sort of unable to move, just only able to sort of go with the flow. That has relaxed along the way, you could say. So that was the beginning, but soon after I felt called to start working on myself, and also start to work on this pain and limiting beliefs and traumas I felt. And it was not huge traumas, as in they were huge for my life, but not in traumas which you would expect it to be, but severe nonetheless, because Gabor Mate has a whole thing about the biggest trauma for most people is just feeling alone and not feeling like you can talk about your hurt. That happened to me, and that's a core wound for a lot of people. It was for me, and that's one of the traumas I've healed in myself. But there were many more beliefs, core beliefs, feelings, things I needed to look at, things I needed to do with, and that happened in that mostly happened with all of that is energy work. Most of the healing happened by me talking about it, but mostly by me just sitting with it, feeling it, really putting my attention on it. When I met it in my life, you could say, when I met those feelings, when I met that pain in myself, or I would have certain things happen to me that would reflect that pain, I would sit with it. And it would free myself up. It would sort of, by accepting it, by feeling it, by being with it, it would often neutralize or let go. And it was just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of, also similar themes, similar things that would come up in a different way. And would reveal a little bit of her deeper core. So it would take time. It's not like it all happened in once. I think it's now 6.5 years after my awakening, and it was 6.5 years of mostly doing this. And you could say the rest of my life suffered because of it, because my personal relationship suffered because of it, my work suffered because of it, my body and my energy suffered immensely because of it. Also, lack of concentration and lack of energy, tiredness, things like that. But this is all very, very common in that phase of you working on yourself. And for some people, this takes years, and for other people, it takes, let's say, for some people, it takes 2 years, or maybe 1. But for me, it took like 6.5 at least. I feel right now that I'm in another phase, or a deeper phase, or in which I'm not totally focused on just letting go of these things. But I just came out of a sort of last marathon, which felt like a sort of last marathon for me to really let go of some of these core wounds, and that I could really reach to the deepest of that, which was extremely beautiful and also very intense. One of the lessons I had to learn along the way is to take rest because it felt, I've often said also to my girlfriend that it felt inevitable, because she often said like, why don't you leave yourself alone, just accept yourself. But it felt like so inevitable to work on this stuff. It felt so inevitable to do something with that. It really felt inevitable. It felt inevitable to work with it. It felt inevitable to go into it. I didn't feel like I had an option to go a different route. It felt like I was guided to let it go in this way, and to be with, you could say, my pain and suffering, and to slowly let it melt in the warmth of my love for who I really am. It's been it's been a crazy ride, my friend. It's been a crazy ride. But while I was doing this, and while all these things kept coming up, I also, with every layer, I lost a part of myself that felt artificial, that felt fake, that felt painful, that felt hurt, that felt coming from anxiety, coming from part of myself which was just hurting. So it was just every layer I let go of, I felt proud, I felt relaxeder, I felt better. Especially looking inwards, through these years, what was the result of this is, I think, a good question. So let's answer that question. And the result was, first of all, I have lost most of my self-judgment. It has softened immensely. I feel no need to create problems anymore, which sounds strange, but listening to other people, let's say quote unquote normal people who haven't had this happen to them, they create a lot of problems, like around themselves or with themselves, and oftentimes they do not notice it. And I feel that I've become a version of myself in which I don't really in which I just don't create those problems so much anymore, and also sometimes see others creating problems and feel like, well, what are you doing this? This is unnecessary. Aren't you realizing you're creating this yourself? Aren't you realizing that you're creating sort of a boundary or an idea, and then you're believing in it, and then it doesn't come true, or somebody else acts differently, and you're effed yourself up, and you're doing it yourself, and you're not realizing it. That's so common, so common, and we don't even know it's so common. We don't even realize it's how common this really is, but it's immensely common. It's immensely common. And another thing which happened to me is just this, that I'm just going with the flow a lot more, even though I don't have to think, like surrender or go with the flow. I'm just there's a sort of natural navigation system where I realize here there's energy, there's movement, and with this, if I go in that direction, or I don't feel pull, I don't feel, there's no way for me to ride there. It just doesn't feel natural that much. So I have this very much like an intense sensitivity to what feels natural for me to do and what doesn't feel natural. Also, I feel like mentally so much stronger. I feel so much more secure in myself as well. So much more secure in myself, about my body, about my mind, about who I am, about my role in the world, about everything. I feel so much better. I also feel this immense tranquility, this immense relaxation, this immense clarity on life. Also, I've gained an intense and immense amount of insights about what life is and what it isn't, and about how to move forward with it. Yeah. So yeah, I have this. I parked the car. So I have this immense clarity about not what I'm going to do, not what's going to happen, but what feels natural in the moment. And my trust, or sort of my feeling of being part of that moment, it has increased a lot. As in, my sort of sense of separation has vanished more and more, and I feel that I've sunk deeper and deeper into this experiential feeling of oneness with the world, even though that doesn't feel like it is complete, because there is a sense of separation. There's a sense of center. I still feel a sense of center, mostly in the belly, I would say. And so that's interesting. It's an interesting thing to explore. I started first to really explore my cognition and my actions, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. Also my triggers, what winds me up. And I feel in the last year and a half, I've been really focusing on how my body subtly feels, sort of feelings of resistance in the body, feelings of separation, feelings, that you could say that shape the body location sense, which has been interesting. I've been getting more and more insights into who I am, why I'm here, previous lives, insights into previous lives, the context of this life, why I'm with my girlfriend on a deeper level, why I chose these parents, and a lot of things like that have become clear to me. Also, like, some things feel so clear that it's sometimes hard to talk to people about them, because what I've noticed is that, let's say you have a certain understanding experientially of what life is, and you discuss that with somebody next to them, possibly having other experiences or other words to describe a similar experience. What also happens a lot is that people just intellectually have this understanding, which is not experientially, which is not an experiential understanding, but it's just they sort of heard something somewhere and they think that's right. And then you have a debate with them because they think that you don't know this experientially, but they also think that you have an intellectual understanding of that and that it's up for debate. And it's hard because when you've experienced something, it doesn't feel like it's up for debate, right? It's just, that doesn't mean that you should be stuck up, or everything is just a perspective or a side of the truth. You could say there's the truth is like a diamond with 1,000 different sides to it, and it's not that one side is the truth. Everything together is the truth, but still it feels like sometimes you have your side or one side very clear, not from an intellectual perspective, but because you've been there. Social interactions start to get a little bit weirder, and also reality itself seems more dreamlike. The funny thing is that even though maybe social interactions are a bit stranger to do, there is a sort of deeper layer of understanding that you're the same everythingness as that other person, which is not a person, but it's just the other everythingness, you could say, or the same everythingness as you are. Because of that, there's a sort of deep layer of recognition and of understanding and of love for that other person without them saying anything about it. So that deeper understanding, that deeper feeling of oneness with them starts to really, or has started to really come alive in me. In that I like social interaction, usually not for what's being said, but just for being together. And that's very valuable to me. And I just noticed, even though I'm a big talker and I like to talk and I like to debate and I like to share knowledge and share experiences with people and also learn from other people and understand and have insights and perspectives from other people, I used to really thrive on conversations, and I noticed that I don't thrive on them so much anymore, because it just feels like it's splinters of truth, but what is really true is already there. It's just that sense, it's a sort of, I don't know, it's the stuff of everything. It just feels like, it's already there. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So that's the life update I wanted to share. 6 years of almost 7. Yeah, March it's 7. So, and now it's January 22nd. So 2022. So 6.5 years, almost 7 years of this awakening. And that's the update about it. I hope you liked it. Maybe it helps, maybe it's, maybe you recognize it, maybe you feel like drawn to this, maybe you understand more about it because you've heard this. I hope it helps for you. Much love, and I speak to you in the next video. Subscribe if you like it. Like the video, it helps the algorithm, helps other people like you to find my videos through the algorithm if you give your thumbs up. So I really appreciate that. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.